Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. What are you saying, William? How are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. First viewer, first like, love to see that. US 30, yeah, US 30 did take off quite mad. A lot of the indices, to be fair, went mad yesterday. US 30, big sell off to the downside. Actually, that's the daily chart, actually. So yeah, we've been continuing to the downside, but yeah, yesterday especially massive sell off to the downside. I'm pretty sure all indices like that, crypto as well, we did see some big move to the downside as well. So a lot of markets down yesterday, to be fair. Morning, Sherry-Ann, hope you had a good weekend as well. Yeah, sure thing. Euro NZD, we'll take a look at that for you. Yeah, Euro NZD. Okay, so I'm going to start with the daily and then work my way down. So for this one, we do have a really nice level here, going through the market just below 1.67. So support, resistance, support. Now still holding that as resistance. So yeah, as long as we stay below that, I still do have that short bias as well for Euro NZD. So I do agree with you with that one. I'm expecting more downside for this pair. Probably see another move back into this same support here, 1.65, 500 around there. So probably just see a completion of that range to the downside. If we can break through this, then I think we can move probably back into these lows all the way down there, those daily lows, 1.63, 500. But yeah, I do agree, we're really struggling to break through that resistance. Very nice close there on the 4H. Now I think that momentum does continue, so we don't climb back, out of this resistance by the end of the day. As long as we can hold that as resistance, then yeah, I say any pullback you can find, maybe an hourly or on the lower time frames, I think we'll probably just see a completion of that range. I'm not too sure if we'll see a break of this support, just because we've had some massive massive dump to the downside, and price might want to go retrace some of that movement eventually. But you know, with the price action we're seeing now, it does look like price is going to give us another swing to the downside, and targets will be that support. But if we can break through that, then we're probably heading all the way back down to those lows there. So yeah, I do agree with you on that one. We are looking bearish there. It'll be interesting to see how this daily candle closes, because right now it's giving us kind of a shooting star there with a nice wick to the upside and looking bearish. So if that candle closes similar to how that is, then yeah, there's a good probability we'll probably roll over to the downside for Euro entity. So yeah, I do agree with you on that one. That is looking good potentially. I've got an hourly time frame, so Red had a bit of a sell off this morning. So yeah, if you can come up, form a lower high somewhere, shorts will be looking good. I do agree. Took Bitcoin short. Fair play. Took a Bitcoin short. Yeah, I mean that did sell off quite aggressively yesterday. Well, a lot of the cryptos did, to be honest. So yeah, Bitcoin is looking quite bearish here. Yeah, I mean, I did say if it was going to fall to the downside, this is where I see price coming to the 40k mark. It's hit that already. If it can break through that, then Bitcoin will probably see a little bit more move to the downside. But again, I think Bitcoin, you know, it was going to see some downside anyway, just because it's had some big momentum moving to the upside. Hadn't seen much retracement. You can see when price was moving up here, we saw some nice retracement at least. So I think we're going to at least retrace that. If you can break through this, then Bitcoin will probably see a lot more downside than it's looking right now. But yeah, we're coming to a very, very strong support, 40k. We'll see how Bitcoin reacts with that level. So far, seen some nice rejection, but you know that daily candle still got a long way to go before it does close. So yeah, Bitcoin is looking bearish, especially with that momentum from yesterday. And yeah, all cryptos are looking bearish pretty much as well. So yeah, I do agree with that one's looking good, but if it break through that, then yeah, you could be really in the money. If not, we might see price bounce back up to the upside. Euro Cad long, Cad Jpy short. So expecting some Cad weakness then, are we? I mean, to be fair, I am as well. Cad is not looking good at this time. Cad Jpy short is looking good. I mean, to be honest, I've been looking for Cad shorts ever since, not last week. Was it last week? Yeah, it might have been last week or the week before. But yeah, I've been looking for Cad Jpy shorts quite some time now. Simply because this market is still bearish. You know, you can still see the lower lows, lower highs. And I still do expect to see Cad Jpy break to the downside here. And probably push back into this wick all the way down there. It's having a tough time breaking through that resistance. And yeah, I do expect to see the market break to the downside, especially the momentum from yesterday as well. As you can see, a really nice daily candle closure there. I think we're seeing some pullback now, but I think if that can hold, Cad Jpy is looking good for more downside. It's looking good down the hourly as well. But yeah, from a daily point of view, price looks like it's forming potentially another lower high in the market. And yeah, if we can hold that resistance, which it looks like we probably will. Had a nice test there last week, come again, retest, nice reaction again this week. Then yeah, we should be pushing back down to these lows. We do have a little bit of a support going through here, but you know, like I said, if that trend's going to continue, it's probably most likely going to break through that area anyway, which is around the 0.71800 mark. But yeah, I'd see Cad Jpy eventually coming down to hit that wick all the way there, probably some new lows as well. Euro Cad long, yeah, Euro Cad's looking good as well to the upside. Euro, we saw some strength yesterday, not so much today, however. Seen some weakness in the euro this morning, but overall Euro Cad is still kind of on that uptrend, as you can see. You know, kind of a choppy market, do have to say that, but you know, we are still kind of pushing to the upside. Still respecting our daily trend line here as well, which is staying above. I said as long as we stay above, we're most likely going to see price break to the upside and probably take out this resistance here, or at least go and test it. That resistance around the 152 mark. So that's why I do see Euro Cad heading all the way up there. If we can keep up this price action, which does look like we are doing, 4H seen some pullback, but it's come into resistance. You know, that's what we expect to see the market do. So yeah, if EuroCAD can stay above that trend line, I do think EuroCAD does have a good chance of pushing to 152 and testing that resistance there. Hello Vela, how are you doing? Yeah, sure thing. We'll take a look at Cad Jpy. So again, another Cad pair, expecting more weakness for this one. We did see quite aggressive sell-off yesterday, actually, to be fair, for Cad Jpy. We had this support here, which was the target, well, main target for Cad Jpy this week. And as you can see, we smashed through that yesterday, actually closed below it as well, which is the furthest daily close you've had since all the way, 21st of April. We've been failing to close below this level here. Well, we did close below there, but as you can see, we've got a further close. So yeah, Cad Jpy, with the momentum we're seeing on the daily, it looks like we're probably going to take out this wick down here very soonish. Maybe by the end of this week, I can see price. If we don't do any crazy pullback, then yeah, I'll probably see price taking out that wick down there. So yeah, we are looking really bearish here for Cad Jpy. I think we're just in retracement mode. We do have a nice area of supply here, also support there as well. That price might want to come and retest. But yeah, I think only looking for sells for this one. Very, very strong dump to the downside coming from last week into this week. We've pulled back already to the 50% area, so we'll come back to a nice area to retrace. And I think generally from this area here, we'll probably could see some nice sells, and again targets will be that wick all the way down there. So yeah, Cad Jpy bearish, biases bearish, expecting sells. There's a chance that we could pull back higher, but I think still looking for sells, looking at the daily time frame. Use the daily to set the direction, and you can drop to the low time frames to look for entries. But yeah, look at what I'm seeing from the daily: momentums to the downside, trends to the downside, structures to the downside. So yeah, only looking for sells for this one. We're in a good area now. Price action isn't quite lining up yet. Seen some nice wicks there, but might see price push up a little bit, hit this zone, and then sell off from there. So yeah, Cad Jpy is looking good, and expecting probably this wick to be taken out by the end of the week. So yeah, more downside for Cad Jpy. And Cad CHF as well. Cad CHF is looking a little bit more bearish than Cad Jpy actually. I think that's because CHF has got a bit of strength in it. Yeah, as you can see, CHF actually took a massive dive over the past few days. As you can see, we're moving sideways for quite some time. It felt like forever. CHF Jpy was moving sideways within this range, and finally we've got the breakout to the downside here for CHF. But you see how we are looking a little bit bullish right now. But I think with the price action we're seeing with the breakout, we could turn bearish quite quickly again. We could be coming back up for the retest of this level here. We've still got a bit of way to go and test that level, but CHF, looking at the higher time frames, it's still bearish. Probably just going to be some more retrace before price does dump to the downside. So that's probably why Cad CHF is working a little bit better than Cad Jpy, simply because CHF was seeing some strength. But yeah, a lot of the CHF pairs did take a big dump to the downside recently. Cad CHF, big dump to the downside. Pound CHF, big dump to the downside yesterday. Euro CHF, another big dump to the downside yesterday. So CHF has been a little bit strong lately as well. So I think that if that does keep up, these CHF pairs do have a lot more downside they could be heading towards. So definitely a pair could be looking at Cad CHF with the weakness in Cad and the strength in the CHF. Cad CHF does have a lot of mileage to the downside, and like I said, potentially all the way down to these lows here. And if I do measure that, that's around 150 pips. So it is a pair that I do have on my watch list, and it could be a really nice move there. Euro USD we'll take a look at now. Euro USD. So yeah, Euro USD is a pair that I'm looking to get involved in this week. Stayed on the sidelines yesterday simply because we had this massive bearish candle from last week Friday, and then yeah, I've been wanting to see some retracement, which looks like we are getting some retracement now. for Euro USD, but essentially we fell to the downside again yesterday. I'm still waiting for price to come up again. Again, targets for this week for Euro USD is these lows all the way down there. There's a chance that we might push into these daily lows all the way down here. And we had this double bottom, 1, 2, big push to the upside. No, we could head down to there. I don't think we will. It'll probably take a big drop for that to happen. Maybe if we've got some news this week, that might happen. But targets for this week is this low here around the 1.16700 mark. So Euro USD looking for some retracement. I'm looking at this area here, around the 1.176 area. Really nice support there, gave us that move to the upside, will be acting as resistance. So if you can get a little bit more retracement for Euro USD, I think now shorts will be a bit too early for Euro USD. You haven't retraced much, and again, if you do take into consideration how much price has fallen, you want to see price retrace a little bit further first. So yeah, I'm looking at this area here for Euro USD, and then yeah, sells back down into those lows all the way down there. So that's what I'm looking for Euro USD. I don't think that opportunity will come around until maybe at least tomorrow, unless something happens today. I need to check the news to see what's going on. Hello Hussein, how are you doing? Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, FOMC this week. Let me just go check for myself. But yeah, if we do have that news event, then maybe you might see Euro USD kick off to that double bottom down there. But we will see. Hopefully can get into some trades before the news again this week, because I was in a pound USD trade last week before the news, and the news really did help take it in my direction. So hopefully we could repeat that again this week. So today we don't have too much coming out. We do have some USD news, but it's all medium impact. And Cad as well, but it's all medium impact, so should be nothing too much going on today. Tomorrow got some Chinese news coming out, 2:30 a.m. for me, that's GMT, so that's overnight, same as pound yen. USD news tomorrow, 3 p.m. GMT, so some news events tomorrow, and again FOMC at 7 p.m. as well, which will probably cause a lot of volatility. So yeah, we do have some news events coming out tomorrow, so hopefully can look to get into a trade before then, definitely before FOMC. Hopefully can get into a trade, maybe London session tomorrow if Euro USD can retrace a little bit more for me, but we will see. But yeah, definitely got some news events coming out tomorrow which could affect price quite a lot, so do make sure you're watching out for that. Managing your risk and not doing anything silly. But yeah, Bitcoin this week, again, big dump to the downside. Like I said earlier, we'll come into a really nice area of support and resistance here. So I was looking at price coming back down to retest this area around the 40k mark. So far it's just about wicked into that level now, and now we're seeing some rejection. So for Bitcoin, we could be seeing some upside now, depending if price can hold that level. If it doesn't, then we'll probably see a lot more downside. But like I said, right now, strong rejection, probably see some retracement. I'll probably wait to see how the daily candle closes for me to work out my bias a bit more confidently, because price is looking quite bearish now. It's coming to that support. So far we've rejected it, but I don't know if potentially by the end of the day, we could be closing a lot more bearish, because we still do have 14 hours left before that candle does close. So if we can close like that, we could see another candle pushing up again for Bitcoin. But yeah, if we do push back down, close bearish, we might actually go and break through this level. So I'll probably wait for tomorrow to make a better bias for Bitcoin. But yeah, it is looking bearish, and if you are looking for buys, I probably wouldn't get in too early, maybe wait for the next daily candle to close. But yeah, if we can hold this, then Bitcoin does look good for some upside. If not, we could be pushing back down to the 30k mark if we can break through and hold that as resistance. USDZAR, yeah, I'll take a look at USDZAR. I mean, I can't remember the last time I looked at USDZAR. I don't know if I've actually looked at USDZAR to be honest with you, but you know, we'll check it out, see what's going on. Okay, I'll start the higher time frames just so I know where I am in the market. Okay, so we've been trending to the upside for quite some time. Key levels either side of us, really resistance there, kind of a nice range going on there. So kind of stuck in between that on the weekly time frame, but structure is firmly to the downside here. Had a nice dump there, strong reaction this week. Coming back into a really nice level of resistance here as well. So yeah, I'd say USDZAR is looking good for some downside really. We took out this prior low here, giving us a new low, nice pullback. So yeah, I think some downside will be looking good here for USDZAR. Coming to a nice daily level around that 14.9 mark. Price action not looking the best, I do have to admit, on the 4H time frame. Nice rejection from that level, but we did see price pull back there just before that candle closed, so it might mean that we come back again into this resistance here. But if we do hold that, a double top will be looking good, and I would say sells are looking good to the downside. So coming to a really nice level on the daily, nice rejection so far. Overall, not really convinced with that price action just yet. I think if we were to come back up, form a double top, that could be a nice confirmation to get into some sells. But yeah, USDZAR, if it can stay below this 14.8 mark, I see a lot more downside for this pair. You know, potentially pushing back to these lows here, 14.1. So yeah, if we can hold that, more sells, but we might come back for a retest of this level. So no, I think as long as your stop loss is above this level here, you should be fine. If it does take out this level, it probably means that price is coming back down to these highs, not down, coming back up to those highs up there, the 15.4 mark. If you can hold this, we should see a nice sell-off there. But yeah, it's definitely a pair that I have not looked at either for a very long time or not looked at altogether. But if you can hold that resistance, you know, structure, price action is price action. If we can hold that, then we should be seeing some downside. From South Africa, nice. Whereabouts in South Africa are you from? I've been to Cape Town once, Camps Bay. Really nice, to be fair. Really enjoyed that trip. Do want to go again, but yeah, whereabouts in South Africa are you from? UAD head and shoulders, possible shorts. We'll take a look at that. UAD, I do have a short bias anyway coming into this this pair. Well, not a short bias overall, because you know we are firmly trending to the upside. You know, there's quite an obvious bullish trend here, and you can't ignore that on the daily. But potentially, yes, a head and shoulders could be on, but I do have to be a little bit more conservative. The best type of head and shoulders I've noticed is when price breaks the previous low. So say we've got a bullish trend like this, when price comes back, breaks through that previous low, then pulls back into that head and shoulder area here, and then sells off because we've had a break of structure. But when price doesn't really do that, then potentially we could just be forming a double bottom, price coming back into there just to kick off back again to the upside. So do you have to be a bit cautious with that? Obviously wait for confirmations and stuff. But yeah, price is trending to the upside. We do have to take that into consideration. But yeah, price is coming back into that resistance. If it can hold that, so far it looks like it is, then we should see some downside. And yeah, I'll probably say targets would be back against that trend line, because we could bounce off it again and turn bullish. But yeah, a big head and shoulders for forming on the daily could be in, yeah, don't know what the word is, could be forming. Do have a trend line there in the 4H that might cause a bit of a struggle, but I think maybe if we come back up into this level, form a lower high, that would be nice, or break through the trend line, retest it, that would be nice there as well, and could set it down to that daily trend line around 1.6 there. So yeah, I'll say UAD is looking good for shorts. Euro NZD is also looking quite bearish as well. So if Euro NZD does sell off to the downside, there is a good chance Euro AUD will probably fall off to the downside as well. So yeah, I'll agree with that one. So yeah, essentially, as long as we can stay below this resistance, which is basically 1.62, then yeah, I think your AD back down to 1.6. But yeah, do watch out for that trend line, because that could send price back up again. But I think if we can break here, or if price forms a lower high, entries on the 1 hour could look good. And yeah, I'll probably trade that back down to the trend line there, because that could be the area that sends price back up against you. So that one is looking good. Hey Arla, how are you doing? Yeah, I do remember NZCHF. We were looking at NZCHF last week. And yeah, we've had a bit of downside now for this pair. Yeah, it is looking good. It is looking good. Again, we've had that massive move to the upside there. So we are due prices sell off. I was looking at this resistance up here. Price coming a little bit higher, back up to 0.66. But it looks like potentially price might fall to the downside before that. We are looking good there as well. Coming back into that support, so I'll probably say if price breaks through that support, then you really should be in the money with that one, and we could see a lot more downside. But it's looking good. Price is taking out a couple of those lows there, and it's definitely showing a lot of bearish signs here, because normally when you see the market pull back so much, well, it hasn't pulled back a lot, but when it does it, over again, so a massive push, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. So when you do see those pullbacks happen quickly, like one after the other, with not much time in between them, it normally does mean that the trend is getting ready to reverse. And especially with the way price is reversing now. So yeah, NZCHF is looking good. Does have that support to break. I think it can break through that with looking at that price action. If you guys are not ready in the shorts, maybe a break and retest of that could be a nice entry. But yeah, I do see NZCHF pushing further to the downside. And yeah, if it does break through it, then we could see a lot more. A really big sell-off for this one, because you can see all these consecutive bullish candles there. It does need to retrace, some of that. Again, doesn't need to go all the way back down, but if I get a fib on that, 50% is around here. We could see a move into that 50% level, looking at it from a daily point of view. So there's definitely a lot of pips to catch with this one. That's around 140 pips. So there's a long way to go for NZCHF if it really does want to take a dive. So Arla, you could really be in the money for that one, depending on your targets, of course, but it does look like it's got a lot of downside to it. Nice spiritual bandit. I mean, I heard a lot of people say that, to be fair, that they use my analysis like a backup, or to kind of cement their own analysis, which is good, because sometimes I do look at your guys' analysis as well, like NZCHF. I wasn't really looking at this pair too much. I was waiting for price to come up here, but Arla did point out that potentially price could dump to the downside before that level, and it does look like it's doing that. So again, just helping each other out, and yeah, finding the best trades we can possibly find. You saying the lingo, man? The lingo. Yeah, sure, no problem. Oh, Durban. Okay, I'm not too familiar with Durban. I've got to be honest there. Whereabouts is that? Is that west, east of South Africa? Oh, Pinky, are you talking about NZCHF or are you talking about a different pair? Because yeah, weekly overall, it looks like price is starting to trend to the upside for this one. If I go in the monthly, it looks like overall we still do have a bearish trend here. Well, pretty much ever since price kind of just dumped to the downside there, it looks like we still do have this bearish trend here, which price could be respecting. Weekly, looking at the weekly trend, it's kind of to the upside here. Those highs and those lows. Looks like we just had a lot of retracement. We could be pushing to the upside again, but it's definitely looking like especially with breaking out of this channel, that NZCHF could be overall still pushing to the upside, but we do have to wait to see what happens in the next few weeks though, because we could come right back down depending on the strength of NZD. But yeah, it does look like potentially we could be seeing more continuation to the upside, but monthly means that potentially might be short-lived and come straight back down. But it's all about picking which time frame you want to use for your bias, because each time frame will give you different information. Looking at like monthly and weekly, you could be seeing a bullish trend on that, but you come to the daily, see a bearish trend. 4H, you might see another bullish trend, and so on, so on. So you do have to be consistent with what you use to work out your bias, what time frames you use, if you use multi-time frame analysis, if you don't, if you only use one time frame. But yeah, the monthly, weekly, the trend is different to the daily. But yeah, it's all about picking whichever time frame work best for you. So yeah, it does look like it's breaking out this channel, and if that is successful and prices continues, then yeah, this could be like a massive correction there for NZD-CHF after that massive bull run, and yeah, price could be getting ready to continue to the upside. But I agree with Arla that we do need to see some downside first, because price is a little bit imbalanced right now. With how the market moves, it moves in waves. We don't know when the waves are going to happen, but eventually do see a pullback, and I'm expecting to see some type of downside here. Again, nothing too major, because like you said, at the correction, price could still head to the upside, but I think price is going to see some downside first, work out a higher low somewhere, and then from there we could see that breakout really happen, and that big push back to the highs. But we will have to see. Pound USD, sure thing. I haven't looked at Pound USD yet, to be fair. Pound USD is another pair that I'm looking at getting involved this week, looking for some selling opportunities. Same with Euro USD, really. Again, if I start on the daily for this one, looking for price to come back, essentially back into this support there. Kind of just missed out on it yesterday with that momentum there. You can see, we're not many pips away from that support. I expect Pound USD to actually break through this and see some new lows, maybe back at the 1.35 area or 1.35500, just hit the next psychological levels past this point, because overall we are still bearish, and in the bearish market you do expect to see lower lows, and I know there's a lot of liquidity below these lows here. I do expect the market to go and take that out, so I'm expecting new lows for Pound USD potentially this week. We do have a lot of news events as well, so yeah, potentially this week it could happen. But yeah, only looking for sells for Pound USD. I know it's looking a little bit bullish here, but you do have to take into account all that momentum there. And I think we're just going to see some retracement. 50% is just up there. So yeah, I'm looking at mainly, I said in my weekly analysis, I was looking at mainly this level here. So price support there will be term resistance around the 1.37 400 mark. But my only thing about this, I'm not too sure if Pound USD will retrace that far to come and hit this level before FOMC comes out 7 p.m. tomorrow. Price might only be around here before it does sell off. So I think for this one to be a bit more reactionary with Pound USD. I'm not going to be so fast if price doesn't reach this area, because there's not much time it would reach that area. It can obviously do that. If it does, great. I will be looking for sells, but it might not, and it might sell off as well. Looking at the daily time frame, you can see the market is looking very, very bearish, and we could easily see another bearish candle come and break through that without retesting that level. So Pound USD, only looking for sells. I'll probably say wait for price to give us some confirmations on the hourly time frame. So we're looking bullish now. If that does continue, wait for price to break to the downside, form a lower high, and then look for some short, something like that could be looking good, or a double top, that could be good as well, triple top, some type of market pattern other than just candlesticks to get into the trade. And then yeah, it sells back into this 1.36 area, which you haven't tested yet, and then you could probably look to target some new lows if you want to as well. But I think with FOMC coming out tomorrow, I think that fundamental event could be the catalyst that gives us price pushing past these lows here for pound USD. So that's why that's the main reason why I want to try and get into the trade before that. And again, I'm not trying to predict what the outcome of the news event is. I have my bias, and I simply always trade in the direction of my bias. And more often than not, news events do go in the direction of my bias. So normally when you get big events like that, FOMC or NFP, interest rates, they normally do the bigger news events. They normally do work in my direction. Like last week, pound USD, we did see price dump to the downside. I was selling from here, and the news is the catalyst that really saw the trade move in my direction. So if I can get into the trade before that news event tomorrow, I could be wrong. It could just go and take out my stop loss. It is what it is, but at the end of the day, the profit that I made from pound USD selling here will outweigh the loss I made tomorrow if the news does take me out. So it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, like I'm saying, it normally does work in my direction, in my bias. So looking to get into some shorts for pound USD. Same thing with Euro USD as well. I'll probably only pick one trade. No point for me to pick both. Euro USD doesn't have too much way to go to hit this level, which I'm looking at. Euro USD might not even reach that level, but if it does, great. Sells back down into those lows, and then potentially that double bottom area down here, whichever, just scroll to the left, you can see the double bottom here, tested twice, big move to the upside. So that's what I'm expecting Euro USD to head to, but targets will be this low here. So shorts for Euro USD, shorts for pound USD, just waiting for price to give us that next lower high. Wait for some confirmations, then we'll be looking at entering. I'm not too sure if we'll get anything today. That's what I'm saying. Potentially tomorrow, London session, there might be something there for Euro USD, and a lot of the other USD pairs as well. AUD we're seeing some retracement now. Price did sell off quite aggressively the past week or so. And for AU, I'm expecting price to come back down to these lows here. So I'm expecting a lot of these USD pairs to be falling to the downside. And again, I'm expecting a lot of like USD Cad, USD CHF to be heading to the upside, so the opposite direction, of course. And yeah, we're breaking through this support here, so I'm waiting for price to come back and retest that, and then fall to the downside. Something like this happen, retrace into that. So a lot of these pairs I'm waiting for price to retrace now after the bearish momentum we saw last week and at the start of this week as well. We did see a lot of these pairs collapse to the downside yesterday during Monday. So yeah, I'm waiting for that retracement to get back involved. I'm just not too sure if I'll see the retracement I want to before the news comes out tomorrow, but we will see. Yeah, sure, no problem. Darshan, happy to help. ADNZD4H, sure thing, we'll take a look at that for you. ADNZD, yeah, so what's your bias for ADNZD? You're looking for sales for this one, because this one's been trending to the downside for quite some time now. If I go on the daily as well, been trending to the downside for quite some time. It looks like price could just be heading back down to these lows all the way here, but yeah, ADNZD is one of those funny pairs. I haven't traded this pair in a long time. To be fair, I don't really look at this pair. The only time I look at this pair is on my live stream, really. To be honest with you guys, I'm not really a fan of this pair. A little bit too choppy. It's not that it doesn't, doesn't present good opportunities. It does, but it's just too choppy, and it does form a lot of wicks. So yeah, I don't really analyze this pair outside of the stream. But I know some people still do trade this pair. So yeah, I was probably expecting price to probably slowly work its way down to these lows here. There could be a point where AUDNZ does see some upside to retrace and then comes back down, but I think price is just working its way back down to those lows. So on the 4H time frame, I wouldn't really be looking for buys. It is potentially coming into a nice area of support. That support there is coming into that area, so we might see a bounce, but because how price is looking, I would not look to buy this market. Probably wait for price to do a lot more for me first, maybe come back down, spike through this area, come back up, false break, maybe a higher low, something like that. That could be a nice buy setup. but I think for now, only looking for sells could be the best option. Nice resistance here, prices tapped back into for get a better drawing of that. We'll come back into this resistance here. So yeah, I think only look for sells for this one. If you can break through this, hold that as resistance, maybe a double top, something like that, that could be another option to sell the pair. Or if we'll come back into that, reject it again, that could be another option to sell the pair. So yeah, sell bias, like I said, I do expect price to eventually get back down to that area. We could see some retracement higher, but we'll have to wait for confirmations for that to happen. Then like I said, maybe a nice false break to the downside, a higher low, something like that, and then I could say yeah, ADNZ looks like it's going to see a bit more upside first, and then probably collapse to the downside. But that price action is looking too bearish, and yeah, I expect more downside for this pair. So for me, I'll probably say I only look for sells right now, and yeah, probably take that further to the downside. I wouldn't aim for these lows all the way down there, just because that'll probably take like 3-4 weeks to happen, and price will probably retrace against you in that time. So I'll probably say look for around maybe about 50 pips to the downside, some new lows, maybe that back down to 1.02500, maybe a nice psychological level there, but we might bounce to the upside. So yeah, more downside for AU and less price action changes. But yeah, definitely not one of my favorite pairs to trade. Seen a lot of downside for JPY pairs recently. Haven't looked at JPY pairs recently, not recently on the stream yet. But yeah, we've seen a lot of downside for these pairs. Euro JPY definitely one of them yesterday, as you can see, a massive move to the downside. Again, Euro JPY, we were looking for price to come back into these lows here. You can see we kind of just missed that areas, but I still do expect Euro JPY to head there. So again, it's another one of those pairs that we're looking for a bit of retracement just to take price lower. Again, you can see a really nice bearish trend. Price came up, essentially to come test this resistance here. Slight false break of it, grab some liquidity, and another big sell off to the downside. And I do expect to see some new lows now for Euro JPY. So if you can get a bit more retracement on this one, great. The risk to reward will be better. And then yeah, sells to the downside. Same thing with Euro USD. Again, Euro USD and Euro JPY do move quite similar. So yeah, if I'm expecting Euro USD to push the downside, come test some new lows, Euro JPY is likely to follow. Pound JPY, big move to the downside yesterday. Again, we were looking for sales for this one. It kind of started already coming into the end of the week Friday. I was looking at the market at that time. And then yeah, Monday, pretty much as the price opened, coming from Sunday evening into Monday, big move to the downside there for pound JPY all the way into these lows, which was the target for this week, and price has literally just done that move before the week has really even started, to be honest. A big 180 pip move in one day. So yeah, it's really smashed the targets for this week. Pound JPY was on my watch list to trade this week, but it's really hit my target. So I do expect more downside for pound JPY, to be honest. There's this wick all the way down here that I think pound JPY is on its way to go and take out. So yeah, there's more downside, but it's already smashed that move. I do want to see a lot more retracement before I look to get into this pair. We do have some nice resistance and support going through here, so maybe if we can come back into this level there, resistance, support, retrace into that, then come back down. But I don't think pound JPY will retrace that much. If it does, great, I will look for shorts, but I think pound JPY is just going to roll over, hit that wick there. You can see the size of that bearish candle there as well. So much bearish momentum. I do expect to see us just roll over to the downside. So pound JPY, Euro JPY, big collapses to the downside. Expecting more downside for both of those pairs. So if you are looking for opportunities, any retracement you see to the upside and some confirmations, I'll just get ready for sells really. NZJPY, another pair we did see fall to the downside. Again, I do expect more downside for this pair as well. Used JPY, nice sell off again to the downside. A little bit choppy this pair, do you have to admit, but it does look like potentially Used JPY could be trying to break the downside here slowly, because it looks like it is starting to put in some lower highs. It looks like here we've had a double top here. As you can see, nice resistance there. It came back up, resistance again. So potentially that double top, prices come down, formed a lower high here. Nice sell off to the downside. Potentially it is forming another lower high there. Big push to the downside. So if price does keep that up, putting in those lower highs, and lower lows as well, then I think we'll probably just slowly trend to the downside, break out of that consolidation, and move into this low here, which is 108,700. So that's why I can see price going for Usd Jpy. Overall, not too confident about it because it's just a really choppy pair. And again, if you did watch my weekly analysis, we do have this weekly level that I've recently noticed, and it's not giving me too much confidence for a move to the downside. So we've got this resistance here, as you can see, really nice bearish reaction from that level. If I simply just take that level across, you can see it now is acting as support on the weekly time frame, and we've had so many attempts of price trying to break through this level. It looks like price is just holding that support, and it's simply just going to give us a push to the upside here for the weekly time frame. The resistance turns support. I know it's the weekly time frame, and it takes ages for candles to close and move and everything, but you know, it does have a part to play. It does paint a picture. So for the weekly looking like it might turn bullish, daily looking like it might turn bearish, it kind of contradicts each other. So that's why I'm not too confident about Usd Jpy. But you know, if structure is structure, and if this structure does continue, then I would favor a move to the downside, but I don't think I would be looking to trade it. So if you are looking to trade Usd Jpy, I'll probably look for sells, but my confidence don't match completely, so that's why I'm not looking to trade that. If price was maybe to get back above this level, oh, I did not mean to do that. If price was looking to get back above this level, maybe start form some higher lows, double bottom, that could be nice for buying, and then in the weekly time frame we could get that injection to the upside, and then targets will probably be this resistance up there. We have that double top. I would look to take that trade, because then you know, price will start making sense again, with the confluence meeting up, time frames matching. Probably have a bit of a trend line here as well, so that will make a lot of sense. So that's the opportunity I would look to take. But if price does keep up, then we'll probably fall to the downside. So I've got Usd Jpy on the watch list, but it is on the sidelines. Want a lot more development for this one. Maybe something after FOMC tomorrow might make a lot more sense. But yeah, there's nothing really there for Usd Jpy for me that meets my criteria. Okay, so okay, that's something new every day. I've never heard of Durban, but to be fair, the only most popular places in South Africa, from looking from the outside in, is like Joburg and Cape Town, really. So that's probably why I've only heard of those two places. But yeah, it's good to see you got a lot of different people on the stream, and yeah, definitely want to visit South Africa again. So it is on the to-do list. Euro pound, we saw a big move to the upside for this pair. Yeah, this pair has been a bit tricky recently, I do have to admit, but with that move we've seen to the upside there, it does look like it's painting a really clear picture for me now, Euro pound. I think for this one we could really be pushing to the upside now, especially with how that daily candle is looking, because you know, I've been saying for ages now, for multiple weeks, that ever since price has broken through this trend line, I have been turning bullish here for Euro pound, and I can see Euro pound pushing back up to 0.87, which is this resistance all the way up there, and that's where I do see Euro pound heading to. It did that previously over here, and I was like, price is coming up to 0.87, but it was a false breakout. We closed back underneath, retested, and continued to the downside. This time we've broken through the trend line again, and now potentially putting our first higher low of the market here, which is what I've been looking for euro pound, for price to make a higher low somewhere. I was looking quite bearish there, so I wasn't too sure about price. Maybe it was going to come back, retest the trend line, or give us another false break or something like that. But now price is stalled here, it was moving sideways, wasn't too sure which way it's going to break out. Now it's broken to the upside there, giving us a very strong candle there in the daily. I think what we're going to see now is a bullish trend to the upside, back up to these highs here. So euro pound, only looking for buys probably for the next 2-3 weeks really. It depends how long it takes to get to that level. It might just be a massive move, or it might take its time. But yeah, euro pound, I do think we're going to see a bit of a reversal for this pair, back up to 0.87. So yeah, I will be looking for buys for this one. Recently had that big push, so you need to see a lot more retracement. It'll be great to see price come back and retest this area there, support, resistance. If it was to come back, retest this, that'd be a great place to look for some buys. I don't know what happened there. That'd be a great place to look for some buys there. And then at the target, probably these highs up here, then maybe that resistance up here as well. Or you can look at the target 0.87 all the way up there. That might take a long time. That'd be a real swing trade. But yeah, upside is looking good here for euro pound. So waiting for some retracement for this pair back into this level, wait for some confirmation, and yeah, buys will be looking really good for euro pound. So it is on the watch list, and I can see a lot more upside for this pair. So once we get that retracement, I'll let you guys know. I post my trading setups on my Telegram channel, so feel free to go check that out. I've got a link to that in the live chat if you scroll to the top, or my description as well. Yeah, in the description under the video as well, I do have my Telegram there. So if I do get anything, I'll let you guys know, and I'll post it on that chat. But yeah, euro pound, bit of retracement back down to this level. Buys will be looking good. Morning Namzi, how are you doing? Hope you are doing well. Had a great weekend, all that good stuff. And yeah, if there's any pairs you guys are looking at, feel free to leave it down in the chat. If you guys are looking at any pairs, got on your watch list, you're in a trade already, or you're looking at a certain market, feel free to leave in the chat, take a look here. Also tell me what time frames you guys are looking at as well, because there's a big difference of time frames here. I've recently seen a lot of people looking at the higher time frames. So yeah, feel free to let me know what time frames you guys are looking at as well. Yeah, US dollar, we're seeing a lot of strength for this one, for US dollar. Let's just take a look at the DXY. DXY is retracing right now, but overall it's looking quite bullish here on the daily, pushing to the upside here. It looks like price just came back to respect this trend line for a third attempt here. And yeah, DXY overall, I know it's looking a little bit bearish now because there's two candles there, but overall it's looking like it's still bullish here for the DXY, and I'm expecting price probably to take out that wick up there and see some new highs, or come back and retest that area there at least, because Euro USD, I'm expecting price to come out and take out those lows there. So yeah, DXY overall is still looking bullish. No wait, no, pound USD buy, interesting. I'm bearish on pound USD. I'm expecting more downside for pound USD, but what time frame are you buying pound USD on? That assume 50 minute, is it? No, hourly time frame. You just said hourly. 37550. I mean, wait, 37550. That's all the way. Wait, do you mean 36550? Because 3750 is all the way up there. So unless you got a massive stop loss. But yeah, I'm overall bearish on pound USD. No, you said. I mean, I'm looking about getting to invest in mainly cryptos. I'm looking at getting into crypto. Not necessarily to trade crypto, but you know, hold some crypto for like, you know, a few months, a year. So yeah, I'm looking to get into that, but yeah, at this moment in time, you know, just trading Forex. Oh no, sad to hear that, Bella. Hope you're doing all right. But yeah, that is a bummer, man. Yeah, that's one of the benefits of trading Forex. You know, you can't really lose your job because you're your own boss. So yeah, I hope hope you're doing all right. You're bullish on Euro USD and Pound USD. Okay, by the end of this year, that makes sense. So yeah, yeah, long term, I do expect to see the DXY take a dive to the downside. You know, going in the higher time frames like weekly, monthly, I do expect to see the DXY take a dive to the downside. Monthly as well. Next few months, we could really see that happen. But looking at the immediate price action, because you know, I don't really trade. I know I do swing trade, but I don't really hold my trades for, you know, weeks. Probably maximum I hold trade is for the duration of a week, really. And the immediate price action here is still bullish. So yeah, I do agree with that. I do see the DXY eventually turning bearish, but for me, so far I do see more downside for Euro USD, Pound USD as well, and eventually it probably will turn bullish. Morning Rain, how are you? Hope you're doing well. No, I don't trade US30. I only trade Forex at this moment in time. I do dabble with gold as well, but mainly just Forex pairs. I just, you know, pretty much just focus on those pairs. You know, I have traded US30 before. It's not that it wasn't, you know, good, but I just have more success with Forex. So yeah, I only stick with that. I can analyze US30 for you if you want me to take a look at it and analyze US30 pretty much every other week on the stream. So pretty much up to date with the price action with US30, but no, I don't actively trade it right now. Okay, I mean, Namzi, if that works for you, if because I know a lot of people. I mean, I used to trade retracements, to be fair, not too long ago, probably about a year ago. So if it works for you, then yeah, that's good. Me, have had more success trading continuations, waiting for the pullback to be done, and then taking the trade. I've had more success taking those type of trades, so I've slowly transitioned from taking retracements to taking, you know, continuations. But yeah, if retracements do work for you and you can wait for, you know, confirmations, or you got a certain, you know, plan to trade them, then yeah, there's no reason to stop. There's no reason to stop trading the retracements unless it's not working. Then yeah, maybe stop. Okay, sure, yeah, I'll take a look at US30 then. So yeah, big dump to the downside recently, taking out some key levels here. Price is still looking bearish. I still do expect to see some strength come back in. But looking at the price action here on the daily and the 4H, you know, is looking overall still quite bearish here. Taking out key support here on the 4H time frame. which I said, if price does take up this level, we could really see some bearish run into this level here. We actually did. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was just saying that just because, if price does take that out, that's probably where I expect price to go. But we have actually taken out that level, and we'll pull back into this area here, just about wicked below it. So we spiked through, taking out some liquidity below those areas. So I think for US30, we'll probably see the price recover a little bit now back into this resistance up here. Then here's the crucial point to see what US30 does. Does it break back above, or does it hold it as resistance? If it does, I'm probably expecting US30 to come back and basically fill that range, come back and probably take out this wick down there. If we can get our heads back above it, it might just be one of those spikes the downside US30 gives us, take some liquidity before it slowly works its way back up to the upside. So I'm looking more at this level here to see what US30 does. Right now, it's spiked through those lows, so I'm going to expect to see a little bit more upside from US30. It's really looking quite bullish now, but I think we could see a little bit more from this pair to the upside. And then, this is the all important level I'll be looking at. This support, taken now as resistance. And if we hold that as resistance, sales will be looking good just to fill that range again. And like I said, probably take out those lows. If not, and we start holding that as support, so we break above it, hold it as support. Like I said, it might just mean that USD is slowly going to work its way back up to those highs up there. But I'm expecting a little bit more upside. And then from that level, I'll probably form my bias for US30. But yeah, we are definitely looking quite bearish with this pair. And I think we'll see a bit more upside first before we come back down again. So yeah, we'll see what happens at that level there. It might get there tomorrow. We will see. Hey Chia, how are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Usd Cad and AUSD. I haven't actually looked at those pairs. Well, we looked at AU a little bit, but haven't looked at USD Cad at all yet. So we'll see what's going on with this pair. So USD Cad, I do have a bullish bias on this one. This isn't a trade that I've actually taken. It's a trade for the weekly analysis that I think could happen. I was speaking on my weekly analysis. If you guys haven't checked that out, feel free to go do so. It's on my channel right now. But yeah, I was looking at price to come back and respect this trend line here on the daily. It doesn't look too good down the 4H, so I'll show you guys in the daily. Doesn't look too good in the daily either recently. But yeah, this essential trend line here, holding that support, had a false break there, came back up the retest. Did dip below the trend line a little bit there, but we're trading back above it now, which is the key thing. So I was looking for price to come back, retrace into this area here, slash that trend line, and see some buys from there. So I think that's what's happening for USD Cad. I'm still bullish on USD Cad. I do expect more upside for this one. Like I said in my analysis, I think we could potentially take out that high there. We did come quite close. We were looking very, very bullish yesterday. I mean, pretty much ever since the market opened yesterday, we just rocketed to the upside. Now we're retracing that move. So yeah, I'm still looking for buys for USD Cad. I'm expecting a little bit more retracement. Like I said, back into this resistance here, 1.27, nice psychological level as well. And then that trend and that trend line as well, some nice confluence. So yeah, looking for price to come into that area. I think we've probably got another trend line here as well, connecting those areas. But essentially coming back into this 1.27 area, that's a psychological level that I do expect to hold. And then yeah, buys back up into that resistance here, which is the daily area of resistance. I'm going to daily quickly. So that resistance just taken across. So yeah, I'm looking at a buy back into there, and then if you can break through that and start holding it as support, because here we had a false break of it. If we can hold that as support, then yeah, we're probably going to take out that wick. So USD Cad, I'm bullish on. Waiting for that retracement and then looking to take it further to the upside. But yeah, a little bit more downside. Test 1.27. If we can hold it, show some nice rejection, buys will be looking good. And also we've got a couple of trend lines there adding to that confluence. AUSD as well, have a bearish bias for this one, expecting a dump to the downside. We're taking out that key support here on the left around the 0.73200 mark. Really nice support. We took that out, so I'm simply just waiting for AUSD to come back, retest this, and then fall over to the downside. Again, I was speaking earlier about the news events that we got coming out tomorrow. We got FOMC, we got I can't remember, there's another USD news at 3 p.m. GMT tomorrow, and we've got some was it Cad or pound? Not pound. Japanese yen news as well. So we do have a lot of news events, especially for the US dollar tomorrow. So that could be the catalyst really that gets priced back down to these lows here for AU, or pushes USD Cad back up to those highs. So I'm essentially looking to get back into these trades before FOMC, really, hopefully during London tomorrow or maybe early New York. And yeah, look for entries there, because I think those events there could be the catalyst that really gets price moving and take out some key levels. So yeah, for AU, key level of support here, I'm looking for price to come back, retest as resistance. If you can hold that and move from a double top here or something, that would be nice. And then shorts all the way back down to this area here, or at least come back and retest this support there, because we came back, held that quite nicely as well. So yeah, AU more downside, back down to 0.71, but you know, like I said, I want a bit more retracement for this pair before I get into some sells. First target will probably be this support, which we just tested yesterday. So overall, you know, we are looking a little bit bullish here, pushing to the upside, but I think it's price getting ready to retrace again, to look bearish again, you know, after the kind of little bit of a sell-off we had there yesterday. So yeah, I'm just waiting for price to give us those confirmations, and then I'm expecting more downside for AU. Same thing for Euro USD. I'm expecting more downside for this pair. You know, I want to see price come back into this resistance up here for Euro USD, and then you know, come back into that and then simply sell off. So that's basically what I'm looking for most USD pairs this week. And then you know, the flip side for like USD Cad and USD CHF. I'm waiting for price to retrace down and go up, but you know, I'm expecting DXY to push back into resistance up here, back into those highs here, which is 93,700. You know, we still came back, respected that trend line there, and I think we'll probably take out this high, at least form a double top. You know, probably take out that high, then come back down. I think at least form a double top, and then after that we might see some downside. But for now, I still assume DXY is going to be heading to the upside. So that is my bias on DXY. That's my bias on a lot of those USD pairs. So hopefully you can get that retracement coming in before the news tomorrow, and then hopefully the news will, you know, push us in that direction. Yeah, no problem or rain. Yeah, they probably are easier to trade than gold, I do have to admit, because with indices, you know, the overall direction for those markets is just basically to the upside. So you know, if you're looking for buys, especially in the higher time frames, you know, you could always find really nice trend following opportunities and just follow that market to the upside. Whereas gold is still overall to the upside. You look at the larger time frames, but it's a little bit more how do you say, kind of less predictable than the indices, because gold is a little bit funny sometimes, but yeah, indices trend are better than gold recently anyway. Yeah, same chat. I'm looking for I'm looking for the exact same move. I'm just waiting for these pairs to retrace and then take them to the downside, because you know, I was looking at from yesterday, I'm expecting price to come back for Euro USD, take out this low here, which is 1.16600, and potentially push into this double bottom area, which if I scroll to the left, you can see we had this really nice double bottom here, once, twice, big move to the upside. And if you guys remember that price action, but I'm just taking that low across, and I think that could be where the Euro USD is headed towards. So yeah, I think Euro USD will probably take out this low, got that bearish bias, nice support there. If we're going to daily, you can see that support there with all those wicks. I've just taken that across, looking for a price to come back, retest that resistance, and then dump to the downside. Same thing for pound USD as well. Pound USD waiting for price to come back into this area. I'm not too sure for pound USD though. Like I said earlier, it's got a lot of retracement to do. If it was to hit that level, it might not. It might come like halfway or something around here before it does dump again to the downside. So I'm focusing a little bit more on Euro USD. USD Cad as well looks good. AU, I'm not sure if it retraced that much. But yeah, I'm looking for sales for pretty much all those pairs. Buys, I'm looking for USD Cad and USD CHF. USD Jpy as well, a little bit choppy though. But yeah, I'm looking for sales for most of those pairs. So yeah, nice to be on the same page there. Can check USD CHF, sure thing. I can check USD CHF. USD CHF seeing some downsides here. Again, we've had a massive breakout to the upside recently for this pair, past this previous high. Overall, I probably do expect more upside for USD CHF. Looking at the structure here, looks like price is putting in these higher lows here on the higher time frames on the daily, and I think we're probably going to continue that and probably see price push back into that resistance all the way up here for USD CHF. So that's what I'm seeing USD CHF head to. Again, it's a long way up, so it's got a lot of work to do. If I just point out some key levels here on the daily time frame, we do have this key level of support resistance, which I think price is on its way back to retest. So you can see here, previously we found support nicely, gave us that move into that resistance there. I just point it out, resistance here, slight false breakout to that double top, resistance, 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 resistance. So overall, this level here, 0.922, is a really key level of support and resistance as well. And I think that's where USD is headed, back into this level. And then from here, if we can hold that, which I'm expecting price to do, we'll probably see a nice continuation to the upside. We've also got this daily trend line there as well, which clear that out of the way. This daily trend line here as well, connecting those wicks all across here. I think that's probably where price is going to come into, that trend line slash, that resistance. That support, sorry. And then from there, I think we'll probably just continue and see that strength take us to the upside. So overall, I'm expecting more upside for USD CHF. I think what we're seeing now is just price taking a breather. So we did have, quite an aggressive breakout last week. And yeah, we're seeing some retracement for that, which is needed. Price does move in those waves, and it needs to take that breather, that break eventually. So I think we're coming back down now to that 0.92200 area, 0.92300, and then from here, buys will be looking good and taking that again to the upside. And like I said, also got that trend line there as well. So got some really nice confluences in that area. It might not hit the trend line, it might spike. We do have some news coming out tomorrow, so that could spike things down. But yeah, looking for those buys for USD CHF. I've got that bullish bias, and yeah, I think potentially you could be heading back into the resistance up here, maybe by the end of the week if you can find some strength in the US dollar again. But yeah, I think all these pairs are just retracing, like Euro USD, Pound USD, USD Cad. They're all just retracing, find some resistance or support depending which market is, and then potentially you can see prices continue in those directions from last week, because a lot of these pairs, they have been ranging a lot. We do have to look at that. A lot of these pairs have been slightly trending, but mostly ranging. Like USD CHF, if I zoom out, I go in the daily, actually, overall price hasn't really gone anywhere for the past, I don't know, month or two. Hasn't really gone anywhere. Euro USD, overall it's been very, very choppy here. Hasn't really gone anywhere too much since price action over here. Pound USD hasn't really gone anywhere for quite some time. USD Cad has seen some quite a lot of trending. USD Jpy hasn't really gone anywhere. So there's been a lot of pairs that have been, kind of ranging. There's a few pairs, yes, that have been trending quite nicely, but there's some big pairs that have been, ranging, moving sideways, and I think we could be coming up to that time where it starts to break out again, start to find some directions, because there's some periods in the market where we have solid 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of prices continuously trending in one particular direction, you know, and all we have to do is basically find some pullbacks. And then sometimes the markets are moving, you know, really choppy. It's hard to work out which way price wants to go, and I think we're in that period now, and we could be coming up to the trending period very soon, especially when you see the major pairs like the USD Cad, like pound USD, like euro USD, you know, moving sideways. USD CHF as well, one of them. I think we could be picking our direction soon, and really seeing some trending price action again. And when I mean trending price action, I mean, you know, stuff like this where price was really coming to the downside, really pumping up. Here, kind of just moving sideways. And normally when you do see price like that move sideways for a long period of time, it's normally just price building up for that big breakout. And I think that's what USD CHF is doing. There is a chance that this breakout here could be false. You know, we could see price come straight back down, back underneath that level, back underneath that trend line, and simply that was probably just a liquidity grab for price now to break to the downside, which is you know, something that could definitely happen. And if that does happen, I will change my bias. But with what's going on so far, it looks like it's breaking to the upside. So, you know, that's what I'm expecting price to head to. And if it is false, then yeah, I will change my bias. But for now, it's looking bullish, and I think, you know, if we can get some nice retest of this area here, we'll look to see if we can get some nice confirmations, and that's why I do see price going this week. It might move higher depending on what the news has to say, but yeah, it's overall looking bullish here. Same for USD Cad as well. Like I said previously, you know, holding on to that weekly resistance there, really key level there, taking across, hold that support for multiple weeks. I'm expecting that this week here to pull back up as well. If it doesn't and it closes below, then yeah, we'll probably head to the downside. But there's only one way to find out, and that's just wait for the price action. So yeah, like I said, just a lot of these pairs moving sideways, and I think it could be time to see some trending markets. Pound USD is definitely one of them, where yes, we kind of have been moving to the downside. You know, we've been putting in some lower highs overall, but yeah, in a really trending market, you know, we see quite aggressive price action, something like that. And there's a lot of fundamentals going along around there. But you know, even that was a lot better trending. You know, that was a lot better trending. So I think we could be coming up to that period where price starts to trend aggressively again. So yeah, and a lot of these pairs like do give us signs that USD will see a little bit more strength. But yeah, if it does break to the other sides, then yeah, I will obviously change my bias. But yeah, pound USD is looking bearish now. So like I said, I'm expecting price to come back into the support. Hasn't quite hit there yet. Probably take it out and probably see some lower lows there as well. But we'll see. So yeah, Euro USD is on my watch list. USD Cad as well. I'm looking for a move to the upside for this one, but right now it's not looking too good. It looks like it might actually move down. And I'm not too sure about taking sales just yet for USD Cad, so I'm a bit on the fence for this one. So yeah, I'm not too sure about USD Cad anymore. USD Cad is on the watch list, like I said earlier, looking for that retest of this area. Again, it's not too far away, so potentially could happen maybe later today or during London tomorrow. But yeah, I'm looking at this area here for USD Cad, take that to the upside. Gold as well, I'm looking for some sales for this one. We do have a really nice area of support resistance going through here, so I'm looking to see a price and come up, retest that, and then sell off again for gold. So I'm looking for sales for gold. Originally my first area of interest for gold was this resistance here, but I'm not too sure price will hold on to that. Looking at what's going on in the hourly time frame, looks like price might break through it. So yeah, I'm looking at gold coming back up to 1780 and then sales all the way back down again, probably target this low here previously made on the week. So yeah, another push to the downside for gold as well. And yeah, those are the main pairs on my watch list. I did have pound AUD in my watch list as well, but I missed that trade. Essentially looking to trade this resistance here on that retest. But yeah, I missed that one there on Monday for pound AUD, so not looking at that pair anymore. Yeah, I think that's it. Pound JPY was on my watch list as well, but again, didn't see enough retracement for that one. That collapsed to the downside. as well. So, and to hit my target as well. So I kind of taking that one off. But yeah, the main pairs I'm looking at is Euro USD, gold, and USD Cad really. Pound if we can get the retracement, but I'm not too sure if pound will, so I'm not really focusing on that one too much. What I think of Bitcoin, we'll see. Well, Bitcoin's a little bit of a weird one because again, we had that massive sell-off a few days ago. I was still expecting Bitcoin to come to the downside again, because normally when we do see a sell-off like that, normally you do see price retrace a little bit and then come back down and see that sell-off continue. Now we've seen that sell-off continue. It's either price can see a lot more downside for Bitcoin, or we're going to get ready to see another pump to the upside here for Bitcoin. And I've been saying for quite some time now, since prices are all the way around there, that when we do see that downside, we'll like to come into 40k, which is this resistance, and we've just tapped into that this morning. So I want to see what it does by the end of the day for Bitcoin, if it holds this level or not. Obviously, that's a very strong rejection there on the 4H candle. Nice wick into that, pulled all the way back up, and gave us that rejection there. So it's a nice wick rejection, but overall, Bitcoin is still bearish with this momentum here. So I wouldn't buy that personally. I'll probably wait for price to do something, something along like this, really hold on to that, maybe range a little bit, give us a higher low somewhere, and then push on, and that could be some nice buys. Just because of this momentum here does not look good. It's a similar case to what we had here, all that bearish momentum. You wouldn't buy that straight away, wait for price to find some bottoms first, and then we can buy it back up again. So yeah, I'll probably wait for the daily candles to close, wait for price to give us a few more candles, show that price is really holding on to this level, or if price wants to come back and break through it, because it could still do that. And if it does break through 40k, the next place I see price going is probably coming back around to this support here, this support around here, around the 32k mark. So if that is the case, we could see a lot more downside for Bitcoin, but if it doesn't, then I think Bitcoin could see another pushback into highs from this support. So I want to wait for the end of that daily candle to close to see what happens. We still got, what was it, 10 hours 13 hours left before that candle close, so a lot can happen in that time. But yeah, if this holds, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. If it doesn't, then I'm bearish. So that's basically what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Okay, nice fella. I mean, if you only started in March, yeah, if you only started in March, then you're still fairly new to it. The biggest teacher in Forex is definitely experience, and experience you can't pay for. Experience you can't you can't learn experience. You have to experience it. So yeah, that's definitely probably the biggest teacher for me anyway. Doesn't matter really if you've been in trading Forex for a year or trading Forex for 5 years. Experience is definitely a thing that you learn by yourself, and that comes with time. But yeah, you're still fairly new to Forex if you start learning in March. Doesn't matter if you got profit yet or not. That's not really what you should be looking at. Profit will come when the time is right, but just focus on being consistent, having a plan, something that you can follow, something to stick to, because after all, we're here to make money, and it's a business. Every business has a plan of making money. They know their expenses, they know how much they want to make a month, a year, whatever their targets are, and if you treat it like that, profits will definitely come. So yeah, you're still new to Forex, still picking up experience, so there's still bags of time left. Pound Seed Chef. Yeah, we did see a big move to the downside for this one. I don't know what happened with Pound Seed Chef. Was it just Seed Chef being really strong or Pound being really weak? maybe both, really, to be honest, because pound JPY did take a big dive, pound USD did take a big dive, pound CAD a little bit, and the CHF was strong. So yeah, a little bit of both, but yeah, pound CHF is looking very, very bearish right now. Yeah, I'm not too sure pound CHF. It's been a weird one, to be honest. This is a really key level here, 1.28. Now I've been talking about this for quite some time now. You know, I've obviously rejected it all across there. And you know, with that rejection there, massive rejection, it looks like pound CHF is simply just going to see another move back down into these lows. You know, but I'm just not too sure yet. I think that's probably what pound CHF is going to do, but you know, I'm just not too confident with this one. I mean, it's definitely looking like it's broken through this trend line, of course. It's broken through that, and prices, you know, firmly trending to the downside now. So I think if pound CHF can keep that going, we do have this resistance here, which I was originally looking to sell pound CHF from. It's looking like now it's holding below it as resistance. So yeah, if pound CHF does continue, then yes, I can see price pushing back down to those lows. Yeah, it's a bit of a choppy pair, not my favorite pair to trade, but yeah, looking at that on the daily time frame on the 4H, I would be biased to the downside. It's personally not on my watch list, not something that I'm looking to trade, but you know, if you are, I would say sells looks like your best bet. And yeah, it's looking good. It has taken quite a dive from yesterday though, so if I do get a fib on that, you know, we haven't traced that much really, so you can see there probably, you know, not even hit the 50% is all the way up there. So yeah, pound CHF bias to the downside, but yeah, I think pound CHF might do something like this because it's looking quite bearish right now. So I think it might do something like this. It might push on again today because, again, you know, looking at the daily time frame, that's a very, very bearish candle, and there's a big chance that today's candle will roll over and turn bearish and just simply carry that momentum on. That's what it might do. So looking at the 4H, it might push down a little bit more. Then you could wait for price to retrace. It might come back up, double top, something like that, and then sell off that. That's quite a common price action pattern that I've seen a lot. To be fair, with Forex recently, where you have a big dump and then price has a little retracement, dumps again, and then retraces a lot more to come retest this resistance. And if it can hold that double top, then that is normally a good place to look to enter. So I think that's potentially what could be happening there with pound CHF. It's looking quite bearish now, but I'm not sure if I would look to take that with how bearish is looking there. So yeah, I think a bit of retracement and then sells to the downside, and yeah, if that does keep going, then I think, you know, it should be heading back down to these lows here. But we will see. It's not the best pair I like trading, but you know, structure is structure, and it does work. Yeah, exactly, Namdi. You know, what a candle, huge candle, and that's what you get with pound CHF. You know, this candle here that we've just seen here, it's probably about the same size as this candle here on the daily, maybe slightly smaller or slightly bigger. I don't know, roughly the same size. But yeah, pound CHF does have that in its locker, definitely to bring out candles like that. You can see a massive candle here as well, and it's been moving so choppy to the upside. And normally when you do see price break out of that choppy structure, it normally does give big candles as well. Hey, we'll even pop back in. Yeah, all doing good. Mainly looking at some USD pairs for this one. My pound CHF is a good one. William, are you looking at pound CHF? Because that is a very strong candle there on the daily chart. Are you looking at trading it, or is it a little bit too choppy for you? Yeah, it might not, because all that momentum there is really bearish, so it might just take off to the downside. But we will see. We will see. Yeah, again, like I said, I'm not really looking at trading it, but I'm not sure about this one. Okay, you have a long bias for it. Interesting. So would you be waiting for that to find some support and give you, price action back to the upside there? Because originally before this candle happened, I was long bias as well for pound CHF, and I thought we actually might see a breakout of this resistance here finally. Because normally when you see price keep coming back into that resistance, it normally means that it's getting weaker and weaker, and that potentially we're going to break through it. But then we saw that colossal candle. Now I'm not too sure about my long bias anymore, so I'm a bit on the fence here with pound CHF. With that candle, when you see stuff like that, it normally means that price is coming right back down, back into those lows. So, like I said, I'm not looking at trading it, but if I was to pick a direction, it'd probably be down. Yes, so true, so true. I mean, we'll see with this pair, but I'm not convinced yet. No way, 9 signals. Wow, that is a lot of signals. I don't suppose you take all of those signals if they all if they're all confirmed at the end of the day. I wouldn't. Would you take all those 9 signals? But yeah, it's 11:43 now. So we've still got another 10 hours or so before the daily candle close, and then a lot can happen in 10 hours. Yeah, very, very true, Hussein. Very, very true, because you don't always learn your lesson when someone tells you, but when you do it yourself, then you learn your lesson, because you've experienced the car crash. That's very true, because that's a lot. Because I know when I was getting to the Forex, and a lot of people was telling me to do stuff a certain way and do this and do that, and I'll be like, yeah, I don't really agree with that, so I'll go do my own thing. But then, yeah, after learning things the hard way, then I could see, okay, yeah, it does actually make sense. And that was simply just because I'll do my own thing. I'll do my own thing, fail, and then realize the lesson behind it. Because basically, I've done that, and to be fair, experience is the best teacher. It is the best teacher, to be honest. Okay, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Because we do have news tomorrow, so yeah, would you stay in the news for tomorrow if you can take trades at the end of the day? Because that USD news might affect a lot of pairs there. Yeah, outside the US dollar itself. But it could still hit your TP1 or something before the news actually happens. Okay, good. Well, you've got your filter within a filter, which is always good to have. Oh, okay. That's fine then. That's fine then. Because I know you exit your trades before the news happens. But yeah, pound CHF is looking bearish here. Looking at some other pairs, pound USD hasn't really done much during the stream. We've just seen some retracement coming in from the morning. Haven't seen too much happen during the stream, to be honest. Euro USD again, not too much as well. USD Cad again, not too much. Still want to see a bit more downside for those pairs. Gold, not much as well. So yeah, I haven't really seen too much happen during the stream, to be honest. I'm still waiting for these retracements to come in. USD haven't seen much. Maybe a little bit of upside. Again, still biased downside for that one if we can hold that resistance. Euro AUD, still holding that trend line there, looking a little bit bullish there. What else? Usd Cad looks like it's holding onto that resistance there, so could be seeing some downside. Okay, Usd Cad, we've seen some movement there, but yeah, not too much has really happened. That is true, to be fair. That is true. When I do back test, when I do back test, I don't take into account like news at all, really, to be honest. Simply because, you know, it'll take a lot of effort, to be fair. Not that you shouldn't put effort in, but to, you know, make sure that, because there's a lot of news events, you know, and you have to make sure that you got the correct week and you're seeing what actually happened during that week. So yeah, I just back test, you know, the data without any news consideration at all, really. So that's why I don't really look at too much in my current trading now. I know a lot of people do look at the fundamentals, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm a price action trader. When I back test my strategy, you know, I don't take in consideration news at all. It's just pure, you know, what I get, you know, the win rate, the risk reward. So that's why I don't look into too much news right now, and that's why I stay in my trades. As well when the news comes in. But the one thing is, though, I don't enter a trade just before news events come in, especially like FOMC or NFP. If that's about to come out, you know, like half an hour before, I don't normally enter then, because I could get, you know, wicked out there surely by just the volatility. So that's the only kind of way I kind of alter my live trading to the back test. But besides from that, it's basically the same thing, really. Okay, yeah, I mean, that makes sense as well. That makes sense as well. Wow, a month. Fair play to you, William. That's a long time, a lot of patience for that as well. About a month. And yeah, there was definitely some news events there if you're in that for a month, or during that month anyway. Yeah, I do remember that. That was a good trade, to be fair. And what was it, the USD Cad? What was it, USD Cad? Can't remember if it was USD Cad, but yeah, pound Cad. Yeah, that did take off quite a lot there. I mean, that was a good trade. That was a very, very good trade. And yeah, a month. Fair play to you, because a month, that is long. That's a lot of patience there. Which also shows good faith in your trading plan as well. because at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't take that much patience if you know what you're doing and you know you've got faith in your plan. It only takes a lot of patience when you don't really know what you're doing, because you're just kind of hoping that it continues, you know, for that long. But if you've got a plan, you know, your patience is kind of turned into faith, and that faith is in the plan. But yeah, it does take patience to have the day. Yeah, pound AUD and USD Cad, I'll take a look at those. Yeah, so pound AUD is coming to a really nice area of resistance. So I was looking at this level here, 1.89500, seeing a price can take up to the downside. So I'm bearish on pound AUD. I think we can see a nice move to the downside for this pair, potentially back into this area. We do have support here though. If I just get the rectangular tool out actually. Yeah, we do have support here though that we do need to break back below to see that happen. If we do break back above this resistance here, then there's probably pound AUD heading back down to those highs up there. And at the same, if we come into this support and start rejecting it, then probably pound AUD is coming back to those highs up there as well. But yeah, pound AUD for me, I'm looking at sells from this resistance. But yeah, like I said, if you do hold that support, then it probably means we're going to continue to the upside. And for USD Cad as well, I'm bullish for this one. I'm expecting USD Cad to push back into the resistance all the way up there, and then potentially head back. Oh, those are the trades you held. I mean, free analysis as well. Free analysis as well. It's just a habit. It's just a habit. You write a pair in the comment section, and I'll analyze it. It's a habit. But yeah, it was USD Cad, because I was thinking USD Cad that you're in that trade. Much appreciated. Yeah, of course. You've got to, and we got a stream for 2 hours. You got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then it's gonna be a long 2 hours for you. Very long. Feel free to leave in the chat. Cad Jpy still looking a little bit bullish there for that one. Again, still do have a bearish bias for Cad Jpy. Okay, I'll take a look at oil then. Ooh, wrong one. Okay, so I'm taking it you have a bearish, yeah. Okay, you have a sell bias and opportunity for oil. So yeah, I mean, based on structure, price is looking bearish here. You can see push, pullback, push, pullback, push, another pullback, and then yeah, potentially could look to sell off again. Therefore oil. So yeah, if we hold this resistance basically here on the daily, then yeah, I'm expecting price to sell off again, back into these lows here, at least back into this support there. You know, retest this level there, 67 and maybe 62 down there. But yeah, oil I'm bearish on. It does have that that structure. If it does however take out this resistance here, then I think oil's most likely going to be heading up to those highs there, and again maybe even high as well, maybe 78 next. But yeah, if we can hold on to that, form a lower high, then yeah, oil should be heading down from a daily perspective anyway. Unless it takes out that resistance, then we might be pushing back up. I mean, that's essentially like hedging, really, isn't it? But yeah, it's all to do with risk to reward actually with that one. Yeah, that could, I mean, it could work because if you got a certain price, you long and short, um, then yeah. But the trick is though, because say if you long the trade and you short it, price could push up 10 pips, hit one stop loss, and come back down and go and hit the other. And the first trade wouldn't have hit the 30 pips that you're looking for. But obviously that won't happen all the time. But that's a time where you could get stopped out both ways, especially with 10 pips as well, because there's not much margin of area. But yeah, I mean, essentially hedging. I mean, that is a strategy within itself. Yeah, I mean that will that would definitely sting. Price taking out both. You take the long and short, but it still stops you out. You would definitely think the market's out to get you if that happens. To be fair, I'm not gonna lie. I've actually thought of that before. I've thought of that before. Um, Taking long and short, because there was a time where trading was not going good, and I felt like every time I took a long, price went short. Every time I took a short, price went long. So I was like, let me just take both. I never actually did it in the end, but I've had that idea before. No, I've actually seen some skits on YouTube. It's like a meme page of trading. It's weird, and then it does like a lot of like very comical mistakes, like prices flying up, you buy it, then it comes all the way back down, or you keep moving stop loss, price keep coming down. So yeah, there is a meme page of forex trades. It's quite funny, to be fair, because pretty much done all of them on the page, so it's very, very relatable. But yeah, that would be a funny kit. The thing is, only forex traders would understand that joke, or traders would understand that joke. Everyone else would be like, "What are you on about?" Oof, ouch. I mean, I've never actually experienced that before because I always manually exit my trades. Um, but yeah, that's got to sting a little bit, because you had your bias correctly, you moved to your area, but the spread must have not triggered the TP. I mean, I've had some cases, because I do exit my trades manually. I've had some cases where it's hit my TP, but I haven't actually been at my computer. So I've exited the trade a bit late, and it's pulled back like a good 20-30 pips. So the profit is not, actually what it's supposed to be at my targets. And that does happen, from time to time, quite a lot, to be fair. Um, so overall, it probably is better to use the actual TP, but yeah, that's just unlucky, to be fair. But yeah, guys, it is coming to the end of the stream. It is 12, so we'll do a quick rundown on some of the pairs that we looked at today. Any pairs that I've got on my watch list as well, I'll look at them. But yeah, it's the end of the stream, so we'll do a quick rundown and then break down some of the watch list pairs that I've got on my watch list for you. Yeah, I mean, that happens all the time. Um, There's times where you go to bed and you can't sleep because you're just looking at the trade. Wake up in the middle of the night to check it. There's times where you take a trade and then you wake up in the middle of the night to see how well it's going, and you see it's just bare in the red, and you're like, oh, and then you go back to sleep. But it's not a good sleep though, because it's on your subconscious. You know, the trade's in the red. So yeah, done that many a times. But yeah, Euro USD, looking at some sales for this pair. I want to see a little bit more upside for Euro USD and then come back down again. Do have that sell bias, looking for price to get back down to those lows. So yeah, looking for sales for Euro USD. Same thing for Pound USD, except I want a bit more retracement for this pair. I'm not too sure if we will get it though, because you know, a lot more pips to move first. But essentially looking for a push back up to 1.37400, and expecting price to sell back off into those lows there again. USD Cad looking for buy, so essentially all I'm looking for really is strength in the US dollar. Right now I'm expecting some retracement, and that's what these pairs are doing, they're retracing. And yeah, I'm looking for that retracement to be over, but I want a bit more downside for USD Cad first. Come back into 1.27, really nice psychological level. If we can hold that, great. Also got the daily trend line there with us. And then you're looking for buys back into this resistance here. 1.28200, which is this high there. And then if you can break through that, we'll be looking at that wick all the way up there. We do have some news tomorrow, so we'll try and get involved before the news hits, but you know, we will see. If there's nothing there, obviously we're trying to force things, but if there is something great, we'll look to get involved. But those are kind of the three main pairs I'm looking at. The pairs I was looking at as well this week are kind of already moved. Pound JPY has already hit my target there, massive candle to the downside, so again, not really looking at that too much. And USD JPY hasn't really cleared up yet, so also I'm not too sure of that pair either, but hopefully maybe tomorrow during London some of these pairs will clear up. But Euro USD sells, Pound USD sells, and USD Cad buys are the main three pairs that I'm looking at getting involved. If I do get anything as well, I will let you guys know on the Telegram chat, so make sure you go check that out. But yeah guys, it is the end of the live stream. I am live again tomorrow and Thursday, same time, 10 AM to 12 PM GMT, so I hope I do see you guys there again tomorrow and the day after. But I hope you all have a great day, great trading, you know, be safe, don't go lose all your capital. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. So have a good one, and I hope I see you guys there. Actually, before I go, you know, feel free to like the video if you are enjoying the content, and subscribe to the channel as well. You know, that really does help the channel out as well. But thanks guys for watching. I do really appreciate you guys watching the stream, every single one of you. And yeah, I hope you all have a good day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks Hussein as well, have a good one.